Weekly consideration. Portion 27, Tazria 728.7.21, semicolon 76, semicolon 1, full 11. I am married. Liberty is harmony. Tazria towards a tender child. Ramadan, Shaqi Bechol Lashon, Pop. Greetings, holy kinfolk. Namaste, assalamu alaikum, shalom, mir, jai janindra, satnam, ni hao, buenos dias, etche, konnichiwa, sabadikrab, salangwa, ish, agape, akwaba, welkomen, what up though? Spinning wheels, new pedals with old feet, that walk already many steps within this path of life. Elders, children, families, smiling, laughing, and yelling. The wind quietly, continually rushes through the window panes. Blunt whistles. Grays and blues cover the sky, with soft porridge waves of clouds. Bright yellow from the building walls. Still the short, green grass. Seagulls call overhead, the crows in the kindercare carriages, Moors. A football is shared amongst brothers in the refugee camp of earth, and children's songs of many languages, ancient, eternal, inspiring, now. It is approximately 15. This is the weekly consideration for portion 27 Tazria within our yearly cycle of studying Tobati Gokadam. This includes verses 115 a 133 within the Kitabi Akdas of Baha'i tradition. The Siete of Dies, a Dies-week series of a full recitation of the Kitabi Akdas. Amidst the cycle of study within the Dhammapada, this also includes the Metta Sutta. The weekly consideration is, I am married. Liberty is harmony. Also, in the previous week, the portion is listed as portion 36, Shmini. The correct listing for the previous week is portion 26, Shmini. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahu Akbar. Dao Kuddao Feichang Dao Min Kaming Feichang Ja. Deus nos daqui a Sinchela Santa Vakita number 2. Vaheguru Salam. Baruch Chata Elohim Elohim Melech Olam. Amen. Kyrie eleison. Silver Master Savajikatem, Savay Sataba, Voto Sukitata, Fagabim, Aquaba, Upenda Namani, Fakiri in the Islamic, Chinta Dam Paramin, Labor of Imam, Umajakam, Ubutush Bala, Fakitka. Sheshe, como se nida, domo aragato, Pelmaya, Wakataka, Kashik good. Government God. God, we thank you for all that you bless us. At the Jamiyat of Nami, Madam, Aho, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Amen. From Torah, Vaikra, 12:1-5. And Elohim spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, If a woman conceives and gives birth to a child, she shall be unclean for 7 days. As in the days of her menstrual flow, she shall be unclean. And on the 8th day, the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised. And for 33 days she shall remain in the blood of purity. She shall not touch anything holy, nor may she enter the sanctuary until the days of her purification have been completed. And if she gives birth to a female, she shall be unclean for 2 weeks, like her menstruation period. And for 66 days she shall remain in the blood of purity. 1 Ahava Vishalom. From the Chandogya Upanishads, Kanda 4:2-1-5. Then Janushriti, the grandson of Janushruta, to him with 600 cows, a necklace, and a chariot with mules. And went to Raghva and said, Raghva, here are 600 cows, a necklace, and a chariot with mules. Pray, reverend sir, teach me the deity whom you worship. To him the other said, Ah, may the necklace and the chariot remain with you, O Sudra, along with the cows. Thereupon Janasuti, the grandson of Janushuta, took with him 1,000 cows, a chariot with mules, a necklace, and his own daughter too, and went to Raghva. Janushuti said to him, Raghva, here are 1,000 cows, a necklace, chariots with mules, this wife, and this village where you shall dwell. Ravasur, teach me. Then, considering her the princess as the door for imparting knowledge, Raghva said, O Shudra, you brought these cows and other presents. This is beneficial, but you will make me speak now only through this means, the princess. There are the villages named Raghva Palma in the country of Mahavrishwas, where Raghva lived. Now Raghva said to the king, Wanananda Shanti. From the Bhagavad Gita, the Raja Vidya Raja Guya Yoga Hai. 9:22 Ave de Ojo. Those persons who worship me, meditating on their identity with me and ever devoted to me, to them I carry what they lack, and for them I preserve what they already have. Even those devotees who, endowed with faith, worship other angels, worship me alone, O Saraswati, though in a wrong way. For I alone am the enjoyer and the master of the sacrifices. But these men do not know me in reality, hence they fall. Those who worship the angels go to the angels, those who worship the mains go to the mains, and those who worship the spirits go to the spirits, and those who worship me come to me. Wanananda Shanti. From the Tao Te Ching, 27:1-11. Benevolent traveling does not leave tracks. Benevolent speech does not seek faults. Benevolent reckoning does not utilize counters. Benevolent closure needs no bar and yet cannot be opened. Benevolent knot needs no rope and yet cannot be untied. Therefore sages save others and do not abandon anyone. They often save things and so do not abandon anything. This is called following enlightenment. One eye you happy. From Meches. Book 6, chapter 3, 1-5. Chan Sin asked Mencius, saying, Formerly, when you were in Chi, the king sent you a present of 2,400 taels of silver, and you refused to accept it. When you were in Sum, 1,680 taels were sent to you, which you accepted. And when you were in Sai, 1,200 taels were sent, which you likewise accepted. If you decline to accept the gift in the first case was right, your accepting it in the latter cases was wrong. If your accepting it in the latter case was right, your declining to do so in the first case was wrong. You must accept, Master, one of these alternatives. Mencius said, I did right in all the cases. When I was in Sum, I was about to take a long journey. Travelers must be provided with what is necessary for their expenses. The prince's message was, a present against traveling expenses. Why should I have declined the gift? When I was in Tse, I was apprehensive for my safety and taking measures for my protection. The message was, I've heard that you are taking measures to protect yourself, and send this to you in procuring arms. Why should I have declined the gift? But when I was in Chi, I had no occasion for money. To send a man a gift when he has no occasion for it is to bribe him. How is it possible that a superior man should be taken with a bribe? One eye you happy. From the Digha Nikaya, the Mahaparinibbana Sutta 16:7. Then the gracious one addressed the monks, saying, Come now, monks, for I tell you, all conditioned things are subject to decay. Strive on with heedfulness. These were the last words of the realized one. Metta Samadhi. From the Metta Sutta, verses 1 a 3. He who is skilled in what is benevolent and who wishes to attain that state of calm should act thus. He should be able, upright, obedient, gentle, and humble. Contented, easily supported with few duties, of right livelihood, controlled in senses, discreet, not imprudent, not to be greedily attached to families. He should not commit any slight wrong, such that the other wise men might censure him. He should think, may all beings be happy and secure, may their hearts be happy. 1 Metta Samadhi. From the Gospels, Luke 10:25 a 28. On one occasion, an expert in the law stood up to test Jesus. Teacher, he said, what must I do to inherit eternal life? What is written in the law? He replied, how do you read? He answered, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength and with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. You have answered correctly, Jesus replied. Do this and you will live. 1 Amor et Pax. From the Quran, Surah Ankabut 29:57 a 59, and Surah Ar-Rum 30:19 a 27. Every soul shall have a taste of death. In the end, to us shall ye be brought back. But those who believe and work deeds of righteousness, to them shall we give a home in heaven, lofty mansions beneath which rivers flow, to dwell therein for an excellent reward for those who do benevolence, those who persevere in patience and put their trust in their Lord and cherish Him. It is Allah who brings out the living from the dead and brings out the dead from the living, and who gives life to the earth after it is dead. And thus shall ye be brought back, and thus shall ye be brought out from the dead. Amongst Allah's signs is this, that Allah created you from dust, and then behold, ye are men scattered, distant, and wide. And amongst Allah's signs is this, that Allah created you for mates from amongst yourselves, that ye may dwell in tranquility with them. And Allah has put love and mercy between your hearts. Verily, that are signs for those who reflect. And amongst Allah's signs is the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the variations in your languages and your colors. Verily, in that are signs for those who know. And amongst Allah's signs is the sleep that ye take by night and by day, and the quest that ye make for livelihood out of Allah's bounty. Verily, in that are signs for those who hearken. And amongst Allah's signs, Allah shows you the lightning by way both of fear and of hope. And Allah sends down rain from the sky, and with it gives life to the earth after it is dead. Verily, in that are signs for those who are wise. And amongst Allah's signs is this, that heaven and earth stand by Allah's command. Then, when Allah calls you by a single call from the earth, behold, ye straightway come forth. To Allah belongs every being that is in the heavens and on earth. All are devoutly obedient to Allah. It is Allah who begins the process of creation, then repeats it, and for Allah it is most easy. To Allah belongs all loftiest similitude we can think of in the heavens and the earth. For Allah is exalted in might, full of wisdom. 1 Alhab wa Salam. I'm going to pause here and read the passage from the Quran again and distinguish specifically the two passages, the one from Surah Ankabut and the one from Surah Ar-Rum. So I recognize that I read it kind of succinct or fluidly without making clear the distinction. So the first passage is from Surah Ankabut 29, includes 57 a 59. Every soul shall have a taste of death. In the end, to us shall ye be brought back. But those who believe and work deeds of righteousness, to them shall we give every home in heaven, lofty mansions beneath which rivers flow, to dwell therein for an excellent reward for those who do benevolence, those who persevere in patience and put their trust in their Lord and cherish Him. This passage is from Surah Ar-Rum 30:19 a 27. It is Allah who brings out the living from the dead and brings out the dead from the living, and who gives life to the earth after it is dead. And thus shall ye be brought out from the dead. Amongst Allah's signs is this, that Allah created you from dust. And then, behold, ye are men scattered and wide. scattered distant and wide. And amongst Allah's signs is this, that Allah created you for you mates from amongst yourselves, that ye may dwell in tranquility with them. And Allah has put love and power between your hearts. Verily, in that are signs for those who reflect. And amongst Allah's signs is the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the variations in your languages and your colors. Verily, in that are signs for those who reflect. And amongst Allah's signs is the sleep that ye take by night and by day, and the quest that ye make for livelihood out of Allah's bounty. Verily, that are signs for those who hearken. And among Allah's signs, Allah shows you the lightning by way of fear and of hope, and Allah sends down rain from the sky, and with it gives life to the earth after it is dead. Verily, that are signs for those who are wise. And amongst Allah's signs is this, that heaven and earth stand by Allah's command, that when Allah calls you by a single call from the earth, behold, straightway ye straightway come forth. To Allah belongs every being that is in the heavens and on earth. It is Allah who begins the process of creation and repeats it, and for Allah it is most easy. To Allah belongs the loftiest similitude we can think of in the heavens and the earth. For Allah is exalted in might, full of wisdom. One Allah Wasalam. From the Kitab Yaqtas, verse 116. They who recite the verses of the All-Merciful in the most melodious of tones will pervade in them that with which the Sovereign of earth and heaven can never be compared. From them they will inhale the divine fragrance of my worlds which today none can discern save those who have been endowed with wisdom through this sublime, this beauteous revelation. Say, these verses draw hearts that are pure onto those spiritual worlds that can neither be expressed in words nor intimated by illusion. Blessed be those who hearken. One Ishwaso. This week we are making an adjustment with our studies for this year, specifically for the Towards a Tender Child series. We're including a specific passage from each surah, even when, like within this week, there are multiple surahs for the week. Thus, this is included within for this week, and God willing, we will be doing the same with the Tao Te Ching, within the Tao Te Ching. When the Tao Te Ching series becomes the part of the yearly sequence for the concluding 27 weeks of sharing those chapters each week. With regards to the Quran portions, we are also retroactively including those additional portions from preceding weeks that are initially absent from specific citations. This includes Surah Ibrahim 14, Ibrahim, from week 13, and Surah Al-Furqan 25 from week 23. From the Quran, Surah Ibrahim 14, 23 a 25. But those who believe and work righteousness will be admitted to gardens beneath which rivers flow, to dwell therein for aye, with the leave of their Lord. Their greeting therein will be Salam. Seest thou not how Allah sets forth a parable, a holy word like a holy tree whose root is firmly fixed, and its branches reach to the heavens of its Lord? So Allah sets forth parables for men in order that they may receive admonition. It brings forth its fruit at all times by the leave of its Lord. So Allah sets forth parables for men in order that they may receive admonition. From the Quran, Surah Al-Furqan 25, 63. And the servants of Allah most gracious are those who walk on the earth in humility. When the ignorant address them, they say, Salam. Alhamdulillah, Baruch. Alhamdulillah. Allah Abham. Dawka daw fechok daw min kaming fechok min ja. Deus nostra kies in chela santa fakita numentum. Vahai gusanam. Baruch chata Elohim Elohim melech halam. Ashek atzara bom zotav tzimel asok bervai Torah. Amen. Kyrie eleison, siva mastu savrikatehi, sabe satabo votus kitatat. Fagabim, aqua ba upendo namani fakiri islami chinta dan parami liba me umchega. Umbudushvana fakitka. Shishit, Kamosanina, Domo Arigato, Pelma Yellow Waka Toko 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 Shibu, Gomagan, God, thank you for all that you bless us. Father Jamiat, the Father, Madom, the Home, Dom Shanti, 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 Amen. Alhamdulillah, Baruch Hashem, Jai Om, Hallelujah, Mado, Aho, Vaigu, Satnam, Om, Shishi. At this moment, I am married. That is about as much as I am going to say about my wife until it becomes increasingly safe and secure to say further, God willing. Liberty is harmony. True personal liberty is liberation. Liberation intrinsically is harmonious with the entire universe. Harmony with the entire universe requires compromise of the individual ego with the ultimate will beyond the individual, expressed through the aggregate will of all individuals. Otherwise, the purpose of liberty is intoxication and indulgence. Purpose helps us discern the distinction, and purpose guides us towards within fulfillment.
Hi.
Hey.
114. Is anybody in there?
There's one person in there, yeah.
Hi. You're not leaving today. What's your idea?
There is an interview scheduled between me and Danish immigration for this Tuesday. Meanwhile, I continue with preparations for the Kutuhals in the countryside. I'm reaching out to the media to share. Alright. I'm reaching out to the media to share my story, a lawyer for consultation, and religious communities for cooperation in our Panchasilas ventures. I have a compilation of poetry and prose that I recently write since arriving in Denmark. That also brings up those seeming contradictions. Thus, in the endeavored style of Mencius, I briefly explain the congruence of my decisions. One seeming contradiction may be that I leave the Cuyahoga area after I communicate the intention to abstain from leaving until I am engaged with a woman. That initial proclamation is based upon an established agreement with our native kinfolk of the Cuyahoga area for us to reside and build village in the Cuyahoga area. Within this past year, when we receive a changed policy from our native kinfolk, it is appropriate for us to relocate. Thus, there is that. The original proclamation is predicated upon that initial agreement. Seeming contradiction numero dos: abstaining from writing poetry until I am engaged with a woman. Again, the first scenario, moving from the Cuyahoga, changes the game regarding these personal proclamations predicated upon my marital arrangements. Thus, there is a green light for me to write poetry. To be honest, I begin writing poetry again before I arrive in Denmark. Yet again, the conditions are changed within the past year, and thus there is permissibility accordingly. Namaste, Assalamu alaikum, Shalom, Mir, Jai Janendra, Sadnam, Zaijen, Adios, Che Chaklis, Sayonara, Meta Samadhi, Salangwa, Pyangwa, Eshwasol, Agabe Ke Irini, Esimpen, Asamuje, Kel Ufred, with love and peace, happiness, liberation. From Zuriji, Peter, with Asana Ashram.